As I get older, I can see that much of my life has been wasted by what I would call depressive seclusion. And this depressive seclusion, this is a state of being that I have gone into incidentally. It's like something that has happened to me. And I'll refer to it as a yearning for isolation, a yearning to withdraw from the world, a yearning to withdraw from people. And when this feeling comes over me, when this state of being takes over me, if I'm working a job, I'll still go to the job, but I'll spend the whole day looking forward to the time that I can just be completely alone, away from all people. And the issue, I'll still go through the day. I'll go to the gym. I'll talk to people. I'll go to work and things like that. But it's a drudgery. It's so difficult. The day is so heavy. And truly, this has caused the ruin of all of my relationships. This has caused me deep regret because I haven't been the best friend that I could be because of my yearning to be alone. I haven't been the best son, the best brother. I haven't been the best person that I could be. And I was thinking about that this morning, wondering why this happens. This is like the reason why my life has been that of a rambling man. This is the reason why I became homeless. So I'm not referring to depression. I'm not referring to introversion. It's something more sinister, something that comes over me, and there has to be a solution that it doesn't affect me like it does, because it's tragic. I want to be a better friend. I want to be a better person, a better son. I want to be better. And this is hindering that. And so let's talk about what I'm even referring to first. By depressive seclusion, I mean a yearning to be alone, yes. But it's like, during these periods, it's like I'm in a dream. It's like I'm walking through life and life is a dream. But it's really crazy because it's like it's not my dream. It's like it's somebody else's dream. And everything just seems like a liminal space. And everything is so heavy because I feel as though I'm never where I'm supposed to be. And it's like, if you've ever seen the movie Inception, this is a perfect portrait of it. In the movie Inception, this team of dream hunters or whatever they are, they go into this guy's dream to extract information from him. And they're in his dream. And while they're in his dream, there's scenes happening and everything is normal. And as long as they go with the flow, do what everyone else is doing, everything is casual, everything is normal. The dream doesn't even know that they're in there. But if they step out of line, then in an instant, everybody stops what they're doing and looks at the foreigners, the people who are not supposed to be in the dream. It's like the environment itself. All of the people are supposed to be there. They're part of the dream. And then the environment itself turns and looks at the foreigners, the thing that is like a threat to the dream, because it wants to get them out of the dream. They're not supposed to be there. And I can look through periods of my life and realize that that's often how I feel, often how I've felt very acutely. I remember playing football, and I had this feeling when I was playing football all throughout my life. And so the solution was to overcompensate. That is, if I could be the best player on the team, if I could be undeniable, then I can justify being there, because it's like I'm trying to make myself worthy, and if I make myself worthy, then my presence there makes sense. You can't exclude me because I'm justified. So I tried to justify myself, and I did justify myself. But then I played football in college. And when I played football in college, I had this feeling like I was in a dream and everybody on the team was supposed to be there, but I wasn't supposed to be there. And I would just be in the weight room. I would be at practice. I wasn't free at practice in college. I was rigid. I was tight. I was afraid, because I felt like I wasn't supposed to be there, and so I was doing what everyone else was doing. I had a crazy imposter syndrome. Doing what everyone else was doing, and I was terrified that if I stepped out of line, did the wrong thing for only a moment, it's like all of the drills would stop, and everybody, coaches included, would just look at me. They would realize that I'm not supposed to be there. It's very interesting. And I can look, and I'm telling you, I see it everywhere. I can see it in my college classes as well. I didn't like going to class because it seemed meaningless and trivial. So that's part of the reason why I really never went to class. But I also never went to class because I didn't feel like I was supposed to be there. I looked around, and everybody else, they seemed like they fit in. They were meant to be there. They were doing what they were supposed to be. They knew what needed to be done. But I was like, I'm out of place. Not only am I not supposed to be here, I think something might happen, and if I do the wrong thing, I'm going to be figured out, and everybody's going to know that I'm not supposed to be here. And then I felt that way to a terrible extent when I worked my first job, corporate job at a college, where it was like acting. I was doing acting to fit in. I was playing the role. I was doing sales. I was calling people. And it seemed like everybody else was supposed to be there. But I was in the wrong place. But the issue is, I thought that would get solved. Like, I thought maybe when I was in high school that the only reason why I was in the wrong place is because I was being forced to go to high school. It was meaningless. I didn't want to be here. But that didn't get solved in college. It didn't get solved when I was working a job. It just wasn't getting solved. I was never where I was supposed to be. And I was always terrified that I was going to be found out. Deep, deep imposter syndrome. I will say also, the good thing about working in an office is that sometimes you make eye contact with somebody, and for a split moment, it's a very authentic eye contact. They might be at their desk working, and you guys both know that you're just not supposed to be there. Neither of you want to be there. Neither of you are supposed to be there. And it's like, I'm looking at you, you're looking at me, and I am you and you are me. Right. Interesting. That's the good thing about the type of environment where no one wants to be. So I was writing about all of that this morning because I was like, there's got to be a solution. I can't just always be going through life feeling like I'm a fraud everywhere I go. I can't be going to jobs and just withdrawing, going through these periods of withdrawal, because it's this feeling of being less than is the thing that is causing me to be less than. I'm not saying that I need to be justified, but I want to be a better friend, a better sibling, a better son. I want to be better across the board. I don't want to withdraw. I don't want to have this starvation for isolation that I then act upon. And so as I was writing about that, I was like, when did this begin? When did this begin? And I can remember when I was a child feeling this way. I had friends who their family life was incredibly normal. I'm not saying mine's too crazy. That's another point that I'll get at. But their family life was normal, and they were very comfortable in their own skin. They were comfortable in this world, just like they were supposed to be there. And I was like, why are these people who would actually sometimes be bullyish, like they wouldn't even be kind people, why would they be comfortable in this world? But me, who's like afraid and just trying to fit in, why would I be so uncomfortable? This is very vulnerable and profound. I think the reason why I felt that way is because the way that I came into this world was an accident. I entered this world as an accident. My birth wasn't on purpose. These kids that I'm referring to, their parents intended to have children, and then they had them. My parents didn't have me on purpose. My parents had me when I was really young, when they were really young. And so what I'll say about that is I carried it. I don't know how any of that works. We've all got trauma that exists from a young age, but it's like something, I don't know where else it would come from. It just seems to stem from that place where it's been with me my whole life, that I literally came into this world as an accident. And so I've just always felt like I was not fully supposed to be here. And that isn't to say that I was not loved. I was loved unconditionally. My parents split up. My biological dad and my mom split up. And my mom is maybe what I would call my greatest motivation. Despite the fact that she had me from an incredibly young age, I mean, she made and continues to make the day in and day out sacrifices for other people, for myself, her other children. And I see that, and I've always seen that, and it makes me want to be a better person. But it's also made me not want to be a burden, to do whatever I possibly can to not be a burden. And so I'll also say that we live in something like we live in a therapy culture. Therapy is very prevalent. People talk about things that I'm talking about right now, and they say that you have to forgive your parents for the ways that they hurt you. And certainly I forgive my parents, but that's not really the point that I'm getting at all. Because if you think for 2 seconds, just 2 seconds, then I'm like, all right, yeah, my mom had me as an accident. Her and my dad, my biological dad, were children themselves when they had me. They were like 17 years old. It's like, do I blame my parents? Well, my mom's in the same situation. Her mom had her when she was really young. And it's like, all right, do I blame my grandparents? It's like, when did all of this begin? Well, that's why I say it's not really important to certainly forgive your parents, but my parents have no blame. Like, it was a mistake that happened, but that's the nature of God. the nature of reality. God takes bad things and makes them good. It's like God takes a mistake and makes it good. The fruit of all of that is that I have life. The fruit of all of that is that I was brought to fruition. So the point that I'm bringing up isn't blame. And it's like, well, who do you forgive? Why would this affect me as an adult? Well, the reality of the situation is like, if I would blame my parents or blame my grandparents, or then just keep searching, going back, blame my ancestors because somebody had to put this to fruition. Do I go into the Bible and blame Adam or Eve for the first sin? It's like, you know who else is participating in that sin? Myself. Meaning, my parents made a mistake that caused me to be born. And so it was a mistake that's essentially a miracle. It gave me life. But that mistake, the thing that is a sin, something that you shouldn't do, I was doing that as well when I was young. And I still make that mistake from time to time. So it's like, there's been periods of my life where I've recognized that. Not even recognized that, honestly just did that and then maybe recognized it for a split moment. And then I look in a mirror and there's no physical mirror around me, but I'm like, all right, now I look like my dad. The thing that needs to be redeemed, I'm participating in it as well. And so, to go full circle, depressive seclusion. Depressive seclusion. The solution is in the tragedy itself. The tragedy of all of that. I'm an introverted person. Me being alone isn't really an issue. Me wanting to spend time isn't an issue. The only issue is insofar as it causes me to not be the best friend. That breaks my heart. Not being the best friend. I don't really care so much about the ruining of relationships because my belief is that they weren't supposed to work out anyway. But I don't want to be complicit in heartbreak situations either. The tragedy is the way that I then take things and reciprocate them into the world. And so if I feel like I don't belong, and then I wallow and I feel resentful, and I let this state of being wash over me and I act upon it, it wasn't a tragedy feeling it, it's a tragedy acting on it, because it stops me from willing the love of the other, willing the love of my friends, in action, embodying it, not just loving them in theory, but being a better listener, being there for them more, being the best friend that I can be, the best son, the best brother, the best grandson, all of it. Right. And so for me, in my opinion, the tragedy is the solution. The thing that is causing it to be a tragedy, the wasting of my life, not being there for people in the way that I would like to be. If I prioritize that, then that is the thing that's strong enough to overcome the hardship, the yearning for isolation, when isolation isn't good. I'm not saying isolation is never good. I'm saying to go into isolation when it is improperly aligned, when it isn't the right thing to do. And that's the nature of love. That's the nature of love. Love can overcome all things. Right. And I'll also say this is just a This is a fun idea. I think about this from time to time in regards to this life being like a dream, but the reality of it is that it's someone else's dream. I think that's actually true. I think the ultimate essence of this reality is that we are in someone else's dream, and we are in the dream of a man who's on the cross. And the man who is on the cross is God. And we are like temporal figures within his dream. And the way that we leave the dream, the way that we can go into eternal life, we live, we die, we go to sleep, we wake up. The way to eternal life is to abide in him, to align ourselves with the truth. And the truth is that he is the creator. We are literally, not literally, I won't say literally, but maybe literally, we are in his dream. We are his creation. And if we abide in him, align ourselves with the thing that we don't want to align ourselves with by our nature, the man who's on the cross suffering, sacrificing for others, then not only does that make all of this worth it, not only is that the love that can overcome all things, but that is the way to eternal life. Right. And for now, that's all that I have. Goodbye.